Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Drama to Dharma. I'd like to just thank everybody for being part of the show tonight that's here live with us from the different social media outlets, and also those that will be watching the show later. I have friends that have always, say, Josie, I don't watch your show live, but I get to watch it after work or over the weekend, and I appreciate that as well because I know that you have shared with me that you enjoy the fact that you can watch it later. So thank you for that. Drama to Dharma is a weekly share of divine messages from the archangel realm of Gabriel. We invite you into our conversations and discussions about daily life and your personal spiritual journey through your heart. And my name is Josie Herndon, and I have worked with the divine angels of light, and in particular Archangel Gabriel, and he shares his messages from his realm. They share their messages. They go by they. They are a realm of Gabriel, and then there are realms of other archangels that are with us also at all times. We have Michael with us for protection. He's going to be part of our conversation tonight because our topic tonight is angel protection and daily guidance. And of course, Gabriel is the archangel of communication and compassion, and he's the one who guides us on a daily basis. We have many angels that guide us, but those are each angel we spoke about last week have their jobs. So Gabriel's realm and his job, realm of angels, would be to be our guidance through the day because he's the closest archangel. He explains it to the earth and to us angels energetically. And then Michael is the archangel of protection. So we'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit. But what we do every week is I encourage you to please participate by asking questions. You can ask questions in the comment section. I also ask if you can like or love me with the little hearts if you feel compelled to do that. That always helps me because I see all the little hearts going through, and it encourages me. It's like, oh, okay, I'm doing good. So I or give comments, anything like that. So this is an open forum participation, although all I see is the little green button on the camera or on my computer. And sometimes I get distracted looking around. So if you see my eyes wandering, that's just because I'm looking down at the screen or, looking at your comments and questions. I go back and watch my tapes later and go, oh my goodness, my eyes are like everywhere. So, but in order to run this, I have to do that sometimes. So bear with that. That's just a logistical thing. But I have old business. So what I do is I do old business and I do new business is how I do it. So what we do for old business is bring up any questions or topics, things that we didn't get to complete last week from last week's show, and bringing it in for a few minutes this week. And then we go on to our new topic this week. So what we're going to do is for old business is we had Colleen Stan on the show last week, and she had some technical difficulties for parts of her speaking. So I invited Colleen to come back this week and share with us a little bit more about her story. And she is going to talk a little bit about angel protection from her standpoint, because that was a big part of her journey. And so she is our today's old business. I know that sounds terrible, but she's also new business because she's part of our topic today. So help me welcome Colleen Stan. Hi, Colleen. Thank you for coming back this week.
Hi. Hi. Thank you for having me back.
Yes. Now, Colleen she is a survivor from a kidnapping back in 1977 through 1984. There's been a couple documentaries and movies about that part of her journey, one of which is called The Girl in the Box. And she has overcome that all these years later, and she encourages women and other people. She encourages people who have gone through traumas through her story. And that's part of what we were talking about last week as far as her purpose, because that was our topic. And now this week she can go talk a little bit more about that, as well as anything that you want to speak about, Colleen.
Well, as far as like protection, when I was in captivity, there were several times that I was being tortured and I thought I was going to die. And of course I would cry out in my heart, not verbally, but I would cry out to God, help me. And I don't know how to describe it except that he sent his angels. And like one time I was being tortured on this device that he called it a stretcher. And so anyways, I couldn't breathe. He was stretching my body. I couldn't breathe. And I just felt like I was going to die because I couldn't get any air in me. And so I cried out to God, and all of a sudden, boom, this one, this, it was so amazing. He had my wrist attached. The thing was kind of shaped like a T. So I had my wrist attached to the top of this T on the sides. And then he had my body and my legs going down the T. And then he had like a chain connected to my ankles. And he had like a winch, I guess is what you would call it. And so he was winching this chain tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter. So so I cried out and I prayed, I'm going to die, Lord, help me. And boom, the metal ring on the thing that he had on my left wrist just broke in two. And so, or no, it wasn't the thing on my wrist. It was the thing that was connected to this wood teeth. And so it broke. My arm came loose. And my left arm, my shoulder had got dislocated from him stretching it and stuff. But I could breathe. And so, I don't know. And then there was just several times, there was other times that it just seemed every time that he was doing something horrible, and I would cry out for help, he would send, I don't even know which angel he was sending, but he would send an angel and they would, whatever would happen. Like one time I just had so much pain running through my body, and he was doing all kinds of stuff to me. And I just said, Lord, I can't take any more of this pain. And I don't know how to describe it. It was just like I got enveloped in this peace, and there was no pain in my body. It was all gone. And so maybe that was Raphael. I don't know. But but it was just this godly peace, I don't know how to just, and no pain. And I was still being tortured, but I could feel no pain. And so there were so many times that it was just intervention. I don't know how to describe it. Divine intervention, just boom. And then whatever he was doing, when I didn't have a reaction, then it kind of got boring for him. So he would stop. And so then it would stop soon after these things would happen. And so I don't know what to say except God is so good. And when you ask for him to send his angels on assignment, oh man, he does, like right now.
He does, doesn't he?
They don't even delay. It was like instantaneous, like right now. They were just on it. And so I don't know. All I can do is encourage people, believe God is real. He's for us. He's not against us. And ask him if you need help. Say, send the angels that I need. Even if you don't know their names, because I don't know all their names. And that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. Just say, God, I need your help. I need it now. Whatever it is, he'll send the angels that you need.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And you're that you live that through your experience. And then how did you continue that as once you were able to leave and come back home and try to start your life again once, that in 1984, when you were able to come back home? How was that for you, and how were the angels part of that transition for you back into life, if you will? Life without that person in your life.
Well, one thing I found,
safety, I guess, life in safety.
Right. And so one of the things that I found out later was who my guardian angel was, and it's Nathaniel, and I may have said something about him last week.
Yes,
But
yes.
he's an encourager. He is, you know, it's just he will push you to live out your life purpose, your plan. I maybe push isn't the right word, but he'll help you.
Well, they do. Yeah, they do. They nudge. They'll nudge us.
Right. And I mean, just the other day I had, it was probably Michael, but you know, the light turned green, and I had picked my grandson up from school, and he was in the back seat, and it was like something said, "Don't go, look." And I looked, and here comes this big rig with a trailer just going through the red light.
Oh.
If I had stepped on the gas as soon as the light turned green, he was smashed right into us.
Right.
And so I don't know what it is, but listen to that still small voice, listen to that intuition, that gut feeling, whatever you want to call it, whatever it is for you. Pay attention. Pay attention, because you know, there's a natural world, there's a spiritual world, and all kinds of things are going on in both, and we just have to try and stay connected to God and the angels, and to the things that are here to protect us and help us, and and be aware of the things that aren't here to help us, the evil things in the world, you know, try to avoid those things, and that's why we just have to kind of have that connection, stay aligned, and listen.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. That's just, I'm glad you were able to come back today. And I mean, every week I want you to be part of this, even if it's in the green room, because your energy and your light is so powerful. It's so powerful because of what you've experienced in your life and where you are now. It's the depth of who you are as a human being. And you give me so much inspiration. Just who you are. Now, we were talking offline last week a little bit about what you were wanting to do in the future on the coast of Oregon. And I think that's so exciting. So I wanted you to share that with our audience before you step back down to the green room, because I think it sounds like a very exciting project.
Absolutely. And you know, God, he'll take the things that are awful that have happened to you, and he'll turn them for good. And so, of course, he's given me a heart for those coming out of captivity right now. He's really given me a heart for these children. And I just pray every day that he'll just rescue them all. And I pray that I'll get one of these days. I had a prophetic guy tell me I was going to get one, and
I'm sure you will.
give them a good, loving home. So anyway, so it's been prophesied over me many, many times that I'm going to help the captive and help set them free, and with my story and everything, and I've spoke out many times, and I will whenever, you know, God wants me to, and I need to in the future too. But he's really given me a heart to have a place where survivors can come and just relax, kind of like a vacation destination.
Yeah. No,
I don't know how else to describe.
the leisure that the angels talked about, that leisure time.
Yeah, and I don't want to charge them. I want them to come to relax, you know, have whatever, just provide everything that they need while they're there. And so I went up to Oregon, to the coast, and and so God had shown me online this place before, and so I went up there and I saw the street, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's the street!" So I turned around and I went down the street, and it was so funny because as soon as I saw the one side of this house, this building, um, oh my! It was like my spirit just wanted to leap out of me. It was so excited, and I was like, oh my gosh, there it is. There it is, you know.
Yeah, so you saw it.
It's just a beautiful property on the coast, up on a cliff overlooking the ocean. It actually has 3 different sites on it, or buildings, I should say.
Oh, nice. It could be
And
like a camp or something, maybe like a camp.
yeah, it's
It's
beautiful
a
ground.
retreat center. Yeah.
It's like a little bit over 3 acres, and it's
Oh,
beautiful grounds, and it's old growth is
yeah.
the trees and stuff around there. And it's just really peaceful
Oh.
and beautiful. And so I just say, okay, Lord, I'm ready and willing and able to, well, I don't know how able, but
No, you're right. You're willing and able. Just put it out there to God and the angels that you're able. And now
yeah,
it's just about, how, they'll work out the details once you know
exactly.
exactly that this is what
I've
it
like,
is. So
I've even,
you've already thought about it, you've dreamt about it, you've had all that, and you've had the vision of it. Then you saw the property already. So now it's just about, how it's going to happen. And those are the details that the angels say that they'll take care of if you believe.
yeah,
So I want
and
to
that's
bring it
what
up
God
again
has
because I
told me.
know that I believe that if you put a nonprofit together, that there will be many people that would help support your dream to help these surviving, the children who have been rescued from that type of torture, basically.
Well, even adults, I
Young
mean, I've
adults, yeah.
met, like I've met Elizabeth Smart over the years. I
Mhm.
met Michelle Knight, who now goes by Lily, and Lily Rhodes, I believe she goes by. But and and I've met other people. I'm sorry, I don't remember their names, but I remember their stories. It was really
Yes.
awful, but there's so many people out there that um and even recently there's so many, but now what's really big in the news is the children and the young people. And but there's just people out there, and they need to know they're loved. They need
Well, as
to
a community,
know.
you could help each other and you could mentor each other too. So the ones who are like you that are recovering from years ago, maybe mentor these young children. I could just see it all being a beautiful, safe place for community and respite for you. And so
Right.
as you're putting that together, keep us posted so we can help support that however we can. And we're going to keep bringing you on board so that you can share with us your updates and any of your strengths and hope that you have, because to me, you give me that, like I said, that beautiful peace and hope. And so I want to thank you for coming on again this evening and being our quote unquote old business from last week and joining us again. And then we'll have you back. So thank you so much, Colleen, and God bless you. And I'm going to have Debbie take you back down to the green room unless you have something that you'd like to share, one last message for our viewers.
No, today I just wrote down one little scripture. It's
Okay.
Psalm 91:11, which I'm sure everybody on here has heard. And God will command his angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways.
Beautiful. Thank you so
We
much.
just need to remember that.
Yes, and he says that, and it's true. And that's what our topic is tonight. Thank you so much, Colleen.
Amen. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. All right, that's beautiful. Thank you again, Colleen, for joining us and being such a wonderful part of our Drama to Dharma family, because that's what this is, our family. So tonight's topic, again, is, and Colleen touched on it quite a bit, and especially with that beautiful scripture that she shared with us. Let's see. So the topic tonight is protection. I have angel protection. That's the first part. One of my dear friends, who is my hairdresser, and her name is Rebecca. She's been doing hair outdoors here in the desert in the morning, because that's what we're able to do. She's wonderful. But we were talking as hairdressers and clients do. We talk about everything. And she watches the show, and I hope she's watching tonight, because this is really the show is dedicated to her. And her question to me, she asked me, she said, Josie, could you talk about on one of your shows angel protection? Because there she is. There's our Rebecca. Perfect. Thank you. This is for you. She was sharing with me, certain things that are going on in her life, and I was sharing with her things in my life, and how she really had the need for protection. She felt that things were getting darker and darker for her in certain ways, or they just weren't. They were off cue. So we're going to talk about that angel protection and how we can protect, and how Michael will help us through that. Archangel Michael, that's his job, and daily guidance, because the armor of protection, and this is what Gabriel said to her, just as a, so that everybody kind of knows. He likes to give these little techniques so that if you're in a situation where you feel that you're not safe, basically you're not in a safe zone. Okay, that's that. I guess we could put it that way, because we don't like talking about certain, words are very important. So we're just going to say, if you feel that you're not in a safe zone and you want protection, you need protection. We always do, but in particular, you're like, wow, this is not good. So you just kind of, or you're going into a situation, he says, that you feel that maybe with people that you're not that familiar with, or you feel comfortable, whatever the situation. He says, so you just ask for that protection of, like a coat of armor. He says, like a cloak of protection. The angels are all, ask the angels to protect. Michael will be there. All of the angels will be there, but Michael is the angel of protection. But if you ask for a cloak of protection from the angels, so I visualize it like a purple cloak over you, then it'll actually, if you're in a situation, you'll be where danger will miss you, and you'll miss danger. So if you're, as an example, downtown someplace, and there's a situation that doesn't feel safe, all of a sudden you put your cloak of protection on and you're walking down, they're not going to see you, and you're not going to necessarily see them, the danger. You're going to be in a different dimension. So you're basically asking for this cloak of protection, asking to be raised into a higher dimension spiritually through this, and you won't even see each other. You're not vibrationally going to even be in the same realm. So it's important that you don't give it energy, so that you're not at the same realm, or you're not the same vibration as whatever it is that you think you need the protection from. So when you cloak yourself with God's love, when you cloak yourself with God's protection, when you cloak yourself with the angels' protection, then he says automatically you're going to be lifted up to a higher dimension, a higher realm. And you may have had this kind of experience before. I have, where you feel like you're invisible and people aren't seeing you, and they're not. He says they're not. And like Colleen said, she had that intuition to look before she went on the green light, and thank God, because she just missed a truck coming by. That's also protection. That's protection in the making. When you're on the freeway and you see, a situation where you almost, you passed. This has happened to me, where I go and then I look behind me, and there's been a wreck a couple times, just within seconds of me. This happened actually coming out of a grocery store, where I just missed it, and they T-boned the car that was behind me. But that's protection. That's protection. So if you can ask for protection, when you're praying and meditating, and God's always, there. So that's a good thing. But if there's a situation where you feel that you need, or maybe you feel that you're using your intuition a lot more, and you feel open to a lot of different vibrations, you feel energetically open to a lot of energies coming towards you, that's something that's happening a lot too. And I get that question for protection. Same thing. Just put that cloak on. Because we can't always be on when we're we're all intuitive. But when we're opened up, ourselves to spirit, and we're sharing things with the world, and we're using, our gifts openly, and we're just, open. There's going to be times when maybe, distractions might come, he says, and then, or you're, or you start thinking about, oh my goodness, I'm open, and you start, somehow that distraction will come towards you, or you feel like it is. Again, just put the cloak of protection on. The angels will do the rest. You just ask the angels to protect you. You ask Michael to protect you. Now, Michael, he says that, yes, he does have a sword of protection. But the sword, he has told me in the past, is, and I think I mentioned this last week, is the tongue. He says the tongue is the biggest sword of all, because the tongue is what brings wars. The tongue is what brings the violence and all of that stuff. So if we can just keep our words to a minimal, if you're in a situation where it could make things worse, then that will help the situation as well. So Michael will also guide you with your words when you ask him for his protection, or he'll pull you back from, saying something, or he'll pull that person back. It's kind of hard the way he's explaining it, but that, he'll make it to where it doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. Whatever it is that your fear is that might happen. Now, we don't like to give a lot of energy to that. I don't, and Gabriel tells me not to give energy to that. But as humans, we do have those situations, and especially right now, if you're going out, it feels like there's a lot of danger. Gabriel says that there's a lot of danger out there, just from the coronavirus, from each other, angry people. There's a lot going on. So when you're driving through in the city and you're not sure if this is safe, or you're going downtown, you're going to the stores, whatever, you just put that protection on for you, and then they'll guide you. You'll follow your intuition. You'll park where they want you to park. You're going to miss that situation of whatever it is that could be dangerous potentially. Nobody's going to see it. They're only going to see you if they see you, it's going to be as light, so they're not even going to go there. But more than likely, if you're on a different dimension, a different realm than them, it's not even going to be affecting you. It's not going to be affecting you. There's the quantum field that we pop in and out of all the time. And through that quantum energy, you could be pulled out so the way they're explaining it, it's like they pull us out of the danger, basically, and into this safe field of, of energy, so that we're not going to be affected by that. If we truly believe and we know that that's what we're asking for, okay. And we can also pray for protection for our children and for each other, for our loved ones. Of course, pray for protection for your children, especially your children, because parents and children have this particular bond that is eternal bond with them. So if we pray for this protection over our children, if we don't know where they are, then they will, the angels will hear us, and they will do that on our behalf. They will intercede on the behalf of the parents and each other as well, not just parents and children, but in particular, that's a very tight spiritual bond between children and their parents. So if you have a child that, you worry about, that's out there, you're not quite sure, or just in general, just always, pray for that protection for your children. And especially if, now they're going to be going back to school, and everybody's worried about the kids going to school, but yet we're all worried about the kids not going to school. So it's a whole thing. But just, continually pray for their protection, and that will be so. Gabriel says that protection will be there, and you can ask for Archangel Michael to be there with them and to protect them as well. So that's what he wanted to share, and about the protection piece. And it's simple. Everything that they tell me is simple. It's not drawn out at all. Because you could say, wow, this is that's pretty simple. It is simple. They want it to be simple. There's something, there's just it's not complicated. We could complicate it, or we could just say, this is the way it is. Believe it, and it's so. That's what the angels say. Just let it be so, and say that this is God's will. This is what's going to happen. We are going. And then you say, well, what happens if something happens? Okay, well, there you go. Overthinking it. You're throwing it out there. Don't do that. Because you're bringing it back to you. He says, don't, if you say, well, okay, fine, then just keep going around that circle. He says, that's just going to go on forever. All right. So you can keep asking the questions, keep going around that circle, or you could just put that cloak on, believe it, and go. I know when I do it, it works. It works fabulously. I had a situation this week where I was in the emergency room, and okay, this is the drama to Dharma part of the show where I share my week, and this is quite a story. So I go into the doctor's office on Monday just for a routine visit. That's all I'm going to say. It was a routine visit, and they check your vital signs. Well, my oxygen level was very low. It was at 88. So then she starts freaking out, and there goes my routine visit, right? So, they bring in an EKG, they have me walking around, doing all these things, asking me all these questions. Okay. I had a sleep study a couple weeks before, so I find out I have sleep apnea. Not good, but whatever. That's what's happening right now with me. For the record, I don't snore, but anyways, you can believe me or not. I guess everybody that has it snores. So I'm not even going to think about. So, anyways, she's ordering me these stat tests for the next morning because it was late in the afternoon. She wants me to have a chest X-ray the next day and a D-dimer to rule out what she called a pulmonary embolism because I have thick blood cells right now, red blood count. Anyway, so I go to work that day. I go to the morning the next day, do my stat test, go to work. I'm out in the heat in the desert doing this, stuff at a treatment center outdoors, getting some stuff ready, whatever. It's a project I was working on. And then she calls and I didn't answer. So then she calls my husband because he always answers. And he calls me and says, Josie, you need to get to the emergency room. All your tests were positive. And I'm going, wow, okay, I'm in the middle of a project. So they're like, no, you got to go. So I just left everybody there, which I never do, unless it's a life-threatening, apparently. This is the first time I've ever done that and not even close it up. And I drove myself to the ER, did these, and that drive to the ER was quite interesting because I'm thinking to myself, wow, is this it? Is this like the silent killer? Am I dying? What's happening? But I felt okay. Besides the heat. So I'm thinking, well, I feel okay. I go to the emergency room and they do some tests. They do an angiogram and a CT scan and all these things. I was in there for hours. But during that time, I was very calm. And my husband couldn't go back with me. Nobody could go back with me because of coronavirus. So I was there. And I just started praying. I started praying and I asked for the protection. And I came to a couple places there. I came to my mind, well, if this is it, this is it. But then I said to myself, no, I don't really want this to be it. I want to live. I want my purpose to be fulfilled. I prayed for a miracle for myself because I felt like, according to all the tests, something major was going on. But according to God and my faith, I said, no, none of this stuff is going on. So I did pray for that miracle. I fell asleep. I kept falling asleep, just being in peace with the angels. And letting them do what it was that needed to happen. And in my heart and soul, I did not believe this was going to be my last day, because I was thinking about my grandson. I was looking at his picture and my other grandsons. I was thinking about my family and my loved ones. And it just wasn't my time. I didn't feel like it was my time. So then, when the test results came back, she said, no, you didn't have, none of this is happening. She said, you have some sort of a nodule on your lung. And that she even said, it seems like a miracle because all your tests kind of show that you had all this, but really this nodule's probably been there since birth. So that's what showed up. Can't explain why the other test showed positive. But I didn't need an explanation because I already knew what the answer was. I knew that the answer was, and I said, in my heart, I felt like it was a miracle because I had asked for a miracle. And then, but some people might think that a miracle, oh, why do you get a miracle and other people don't? So I don't, somebody mentioned that to me and that kind of made me feel bad. Like, well, I'm not trying to brag. That's not what this is about. But then I thought a little bit more about it. I talked to the angels about it. And basically, as humans, we have these doors in our life, these times in our life where we could either go with them or be here and continue our path. And some of you may have had those near-death experiences where you have this little choice where, you're either going to go with them or you're going to stay. And you make that choice to stay. So I called it a miracle, but they're calling it was one of those, decisions, a crossroads, if you will, from the non-physical realm to the physical realm, back and forth. And I, made a decision to live and to finish this book and to continue with his work and to change my life, whatever that means. I don't know what that means yet. People have asked me, what does that mean to change your life? I said, I don't know what that means yet. I'm going to talk to the angels about it and talk to God, and I'm going to write and see what that means. I don't know what that means. For one thing, health-wise, I do need to lose some weight, drink more water, get rid of the sugar. So we might have a show on health and wellness next because that's going to be my new lifestyle. So I know for starters, that's a big piece of it. But it's also, so there's the physical changes that I need to make in my life. And then there's the non-physical, changes that I have to make. And those are my soul searching changes that I can't answer what those are. You can answer that question yourself as well. So that's part of the daily guidance. And that's why Gabriel wanted me to do angel protection and daily guidance, because if we ask them for that protection to keep us going, and do everything that I asked them for that protection that day. Believe me, I was in deep prayer with the angels and the saints while I was in that emergency room silently. And then you ask them for that guidance so that you can listen to what it is that they're wanting you to hear about what your life purpose should be, part of the conversation from last week. So that's where I am right now, because this just happened. And I've been, to be honest with you, I've been sleeping for 2 days, just sleeping on and off, very tired. I'm still very tired. It was a big experience for me because something happened. It transitioned, and I'm not quite sure what it is. But the part that, the sleeping part and the resting part, Gabriel says, I'm getting my downloads right now. My body is readjusting, he says, to the new energetic realm that I'm in, I guess. I don't know how to explain it, but he says that I'm in a particular place right now because I, have made this decision to stay here and to do things differently. But I guess, your body and your mind and your spirit just goes through these changes. And for me, it's happening in my sleep gently. And that's why I'm so tired, he says. But it's okay because I'm resting. I'm not thinking about anything. I'm praying in my rest. And that's why I'm sleeping so peacefully right now. So I'm sharing this with you guys because I'm hoping that it'll help you as well in your daily life. Don't wait for something to happen to come to the place of, well, I want to change my life. And if you think that you need to change anything in your life might be just fine the way it is. But I think Gabriel says that we're all evolving, and if we're evolving and everything's uplifting, things will change. So you can make changes, little changes by, and I've talked about this before, Gabriel's talked about this, where you can change your toothpaste, you can change the side of the bed you wake up on, you can change your drive to work, you can change, just start making subtle changes, and those subtle changes will start rewiring your mind. Those are the kinds of things that will rewire. So when there's a big change, it's not going to be, anything. So if you have something that you want to do, but you just can't get to that place because it seems like such a far place from here to there, start making subtle changes, and then everything will change easily into that destination that you see for yourself. So that's the message he wants to give that's so important, is that if you do the same routine every single day and the years pass by or the weeks pass by, that's when he says time flies by, because you're basically doing the same thing every day. Start changing things every day subtly. And then you're going to start getting excited about your destiny, because you're going to see your destiny coming closer and closer to you. And he says that that's where I'm at right now. That's why I can't explain it, and I don't want to explain it. I just want to be in it. I just want to be in this space of knowing that that this is where I am, and living right now, knowing that I made this choice, and that I was able to be here tonight talking to you. Of course, I thought about, well, should I skip the show because I'm really tired? It's just kind of a rough day. And they're like, no, especially you're not going to skip the show tonight. This is a good one. You have a great, opportunity from your experience this week to share with your friends and your viewers about what happened to you, so that they can learn, that from some of these messages that come from this experience. And this does not, of course, have to happen to you at all. And that's, and as a matter of fact, that's not what this is about. It's about just, coming within yourself now and saying, how can I get towards that destiny that I have for my, that's been aligned for me. And part of that is this angel protection, because then you get rid of the distractions of anything that's dangerous. You get rid of that, because when you're distracted over safety and danger, you can't really move anywhere. So the angel protection will allow you to keep moving forward and asking for that daily guidance into your life. And that's what, all of that has to, that my phone's ringing. Sorry. It's my son, Samuel. Gabriel saying that's how it's going to help you bring yourself to that place of finding your destiny. And if you find yourself in a situation like I was, or anything that's uncomfortable like that, or you're not sure about, then just remember to just go to that place where you make a decision for yourself. What do you want to do with your life? And then, just really grab onto the golden rings, if you will, is kind of how I see it. And then, but I was ready also for the other. I was like, well, if it's my time, I'm ready as well. And I was at peace with that as well. I really was. It was an interesting duality. Gabriel says it was like I was at this crossroads and it was a duality, and I was actually okay with the other as well. And that's interesting, but it's not the time for that either. So anyways, that was my drama to Dharma this week, because I felt the drama of leaving the job site, driving, not knowing what was going on with my body, going into the emergency room. And then during that experience, that 5 or 6 hours I was there, converting that into the Dharma. So when I walked out, I felt blessed. I felt so blessed. And I felt blessed that I only still have sleep apnea now. I'm actually, kind of excited that that's what I've got. Before that, I was very, upset about it. But now I'm like, okay, with the lifestyle change, I could probably get over that shortly. Or I can, not probably, Gabriel says, I will get over that shortly with a lifestyle change, and just knowing that, our thoughts are our reality. Our thoughts are our reality. That's part of the quantum science behind life, he says. I mean, our thoughts and law of attraction can manifest our reality as long as we don't keep throwing our thoughts into the past and into things that do not serve our purpose in this world, anything that he would call a distraction. So we just try to, and as humans, of course, there's always going to be that, but we can just walk away from that as soon as we, see what's going on. We can just say, okay, I'm not going to engage in that. I'm going to, work on this, whatever it is. Just think about ways to stay focused as much as you can into with your destiny and your spiritual alignment, your eternal spiritual alignment, as much as possible. So let's see. Hi, Jeanette. I'm listening to your words. I have always believed that as humans, we evolve spiritually, mentally, and physically in order to elevate to the next level. Yes, absolutely. And I know that you've had your journey as these last couple of years of your elevation as well. So thank you for sharing that. I do have a question here from Jerry, and she says, sorry, I get a little thirsty. What is the realm of angels? I thought each archangel was singular. That was from the question earlier when we said the realm of Gabriel. So no, he says they're not singular, although for our minds, it's easier to say that they're one archangel, but they have a realm. So you can just for our thoughts, we can just because we don't have to, but it's easier if we can think about it he says, in a way that we can wrap our mind around. Otherwise, energetically to explain it is very complicated. But he says, so the archangel realm of Gabriel would be them. He says there are many, many angels that are in that realm. So they each the archangels have their realm of angels. So that's not just, Gabriel, because there's a lot for one entity to do, one angel to do. So he has other angels in his realm that do his job as well. So that's how he explains it. It's a we. And when we've talked about that, it's a we and not a me. So, to say that there's one Gabriel only and there's one Josie only, then that would separate us. And we've already, talked about energetically how we're all one and how, we are all one. And that's the higher consciousness that we've talked about in the past. So the realm, he calls it the realm of Gabriel. He refers it to we when he speaks in the beginning, especially he would say we, because they're all one. They're not singular. When you just say singular, then that's when they get into, all of us would just get into our own thoughts and our own head and all of our stuff. But when we can see it as we instead of me, us, then that's where energetically, it becomes that we are all one energy source and one enlightenment together. And he says that that is really what's going on here, what's happening as we're elevating. We are realizing that we're eternal and that we are all one. And as you elevate more in your practice, you're going to feel the oneness more than the singular. And then you'll understand what that means a little bit more. I hope that helped with that question, Jerry. And that's a great question, because for me to wrap my brain around Gabriel, it's easier to say Gabriel, but really it's Gabriel in his realm, and then the other archangels. So there's a lot of beautiful light that comes with God and that comes with the angels and their protection. It's a beautiful energetic light. But when you call on to that archangel for help, whether it be Raphael, it's the realm of Raphael and Raphael. It's the realm of Michael and his protection. It's the realm of Uriel and enlightenment. It's the realm of Gabriel, compassion, communication, messages, clear messages. Gabriel will give you clear messages, he says, so that you'll understand when you're asking these questions. And I felt the angels in that emergency room, I'll tell you. I really did, because my vital signs then became perfect, the best that they had ever been that I had seen. I mean, I think my blood pressure was 103. I have a picture of it, 103/75, where I've just been writing it like 140/98 for at least 6 months. And that's kind of been my norm. So it was incredible feeling that the angelic realm doing the healing and knowing and believing it as truth. And then all of a sudden to have vital signs that were perfect, that was amazing to me. And like I said, I took a picture of my vital signs because it was quite a thing for me. So you're going to have those types of experiences that you could call a miracle, or you can call God's will. You can call it whatever you want, Gabriel says, because words don't matter. Words don't matter. But you know, you can definitely believe that good will happen to you or to your loved ones. You can believe that to be true. But when it comes, he says, to your protection and your divine messages, he is encouraging everybody to go within themselves and really keep it a personal thing. It doesn't have to do with anybody else. It only has to do with you as a human being. You as a human being, with God, with the angels, with Source, with the universe. You're the only one that can. Now, I know we just talked about we're all one, but this again, he says, is the conundrum. But you really, in order to tap into that oneness, this has to be an inside job, he says, where you are going to believe this yourself for yourself. Now, you don't have to put a lot of thought into it if you don't want to. You can just know it, he says. A lot of humans are knowing. They just know it to be true. And that's perfect, he says. Because if you know it all already to be true, not your know-it-all, but you already know it to be true, whatever these words are that we're speaking, then he says that's enough. You don't have to put a lot of logic into it. As a matter of fact, that sometimes can block, the energy from flowing through properly. And he says that, energy is a very powerful thing. It's all, we have it. And our bodies, sometimes when our bodies have these little hiccups or whatever it is that happen, those are energy pockets that are being held and constricted, and stress will cause that. So the more that you can let go and do meditations and be in alignment with your spiritual self, he says these medical problems will just start vanishing. They'll start vanishing. And so that's part of the journey that I'm going to be going on over these next few months, he says, is how to convert my body into this, where I can get rid of some of these blocks that are in my physical body because of the stress that I've had over the last few months. And those are things, he says, that we'll be talking about because the entire planet is on high level stress right now because of the current active trauma that everybody's going through. And he's calling it that because this is a different time right now through the pandemic and through the violence that's happening and through the changes that are happening. So we are all, because of the of these, just energetically, where our bodies are stressed and our minds are stressed because we see other people suffering. We feel it. We feel the knowing that on the weekend we can't go out and do the things we normally do. We're feeling that now. We're feeling that heavily, and it's becoming depressing. So it may not be the same stress as like if you were busy, 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 he says, but your body still feels the stress when you're feeling down and depressed, or if you feel defeated. You might feel defeated that you can't go anywhere, your business has gone down, you've lost your job, whatever. Don't He's just saying, please don't give that energy. Just go back to what we spoke about in the beginning and throughout this show about using this as an opportunity to tune in with your destination and going in that direction of your destination, whatever that means, and being okay with change in your life. And so change little things right now so that big changes can be easier for you. You cannot make a change in your life if you do not change anything. It's impossible to even embrace change if you're not even willing to change little things in your life, he's saying. So start with changing small things in your life, toothpaste, shampoo, the food, the grocery store, whatever. Change your grocery store, or start on the other side of the store versus the one you normally do. Whatever it is, make some changes. And then you're going to see that you'll be like a little fun game to just continue to make these changes and realize that change is good. That change is good. You feel different. You feel like, wow, okay, this is kind of exciting, especially if you feel like right now there's not a whole lot going on. You can do some changes, and that'll actually, he says, that'll help your body to feel like there's things that are happening, that are so you're not going to be stagnant. And then you say, well, we can't go to the gym, we can't exercise. There's ways to exercise. There are ways to exercise. There are a lot of ways. You can go for walks in the morning. You could do exercise at home with weights, whatever it is, or online. You can do yoga, tai chi if you're not able to go out and do stuff, but start moving your body, and just think about it that way, he says, as moving your body. Whatever it means to move your body, start moving your body. And that's going to be a change if you haven't done a whole lot of that over the last few months. And then you can start. So it's not about how, going extreme in any way. And that's what he's telling me for myself, is that I'm not going to go extreme, because I've done that a lot in my life. I've gone to extreme diets. I've done extreme boot camps. And they never work. My metabolism gets thrown off. I gain the weight back, blah, 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 blah. So he said, we're not doing that this time. This has to be a life change. In order for it to be a life change, we're changing my life. So we're not going to do anything extreme. So I'm looking forward to that, actually, now that I know that, because I know personally, anytime I think about I have to lose weight, I get nervous. And then all I want to do is eat more. So, it's just self-sabotage. So he's saying, we're not going there. There's no judgment. We're going to take this slow and easy. And I like that, slow and easy. We're going to take all of these changes. And so I encourage you guys to do the same. Be gentle with yourselves. He says, be gentle with yourselves right now. Be loving with yourselves. Ask the angels for their loving, for your heart space to be open to the love of God, so that, you can feel the love of God and the angels just filling your heart and filling your body and your soul, so that you can do all the things we just talked about. When you come from the place of the heart and letting your heart guide you, he's saying, then everything is possible. Everything is possible. And then the words start changing as well. And then your thoughts and all of those things, it'll all just follow if you can start from that space of love and light, he says. So all of this comes from the topic he says today. And thank you, Rebecca, for asking that question about angel protection, because that's definitely something that you're going to want to ask for, so that you don't feel like you're going into a place, or going into a place in your life, or your thoughts, or your depression, where you're not safe. You always want to feel safe. And that comes, of course, again, from Colleen's story, and how safety is so important. Safety is everything. So if you feel that you're safe right now in your home, in your life, then it is a win for you. then you are on top, he says, because safety and feeling love and peace in your life, what a grateful thing to do. But yes, ask for that protection and then ask for the daily guidance, and Gabriel will give you those daily guidance that you're looking for. And he says it'll even come, because this happens to me, it'll come maybe from a song, it'll come messages. If I'm not, you'll get messages from music, you'll get messages from each other. He says you can get messages from each other because they will speak through other humans to give you something you need to hear. So if you're listening for those daily messages, you'll get them, and they may come from a clerk at the store. You don't know where they're going to come from, but if you're asking for this guidance, be ready to hear it and to feel it and to see it, and so that that you're following that branch, that golden branch or the golden thread of life of the angelic path by getting those daily messages from them to help you with your daily life. And those are the messages that Gabriel has tonight. And I hope that helped you. And it was a perfect example of our show's name, Drama to Dharma, and how everybody can go from drama to Dharma and stay in the place of Dharma as long as you can. Although as humans, we're always going to bounce back and forth. So I want to thank you all for being part of the show. I'm going to ask Debbie to put up our sponsors commercial, which is ATS, Advanced Therapeutic Services. I showed this a few weeks ago. This is our treatment center that my husband Jim and I own, and with our wonderful team. And so we're going to go ahead and put up this.
My name is Christopher Zwick. I've struggled with addiction for all of my adult life. I went from alcohol to opiates to heroin and meth. I spiraled down until I ended up in the hospital, malnourished and suicidal. I was the shell of the man I used to be. Then, I found hope. I found ATS. Advanced Therapeutic Services provided me with a safe environment and the tools necessary to recover. I learned how to address the root issues behind the addiction. I now have over a year clean. I owe my life to ATS.
Well, thank you so much for that commercial, Chris. And that's actually Deb's son that came to our program, and he's doing well, and he gave a testimonial. Before we go, I'm just going to do some little shout outs. I didn't look at all of the comments, but I have Julie who's there, and thank you, Julie. She gave me a high five. And Pat Kelly, that's wonderful. Patricia Kelly, and she said what an incredible experience. And Rebecca Alcorn, who I my hairdresser friend, Chelsea, Jeanette, and we just had a bunch of friends out there today, and I thank you for your love and support. And Crystal, thank you for being on and giving me these beautiful words of encouragement and the prayers, because she said she was praying for me once she knew it was happening. So I thank you all for prayers, and we'll pray for each other. You can join our Facebook group, Try Angels, and I encourage everybody to go in there and just give beautiful pictures and messages, just so that we can encourage each other throughout the week. So thank you very much for being part of tonight's show. Many blessings to you. Gabriel says that he loves you dearly, and he's there with you at all times. And all you have to do is ask the angels, and they will be there to answer and to help you as you're asking them for any help or questions that you have and guidance. So thank you very much. And until next week, that's all we have tonight.